go. The green flag, will it fly? It will. The early leader is going to be Ryan Briscoe. James Hinchcliffe across the yard of bricks. Marco Andretti is third. Already in turn number one. All the cars looks like safely.
Okay, we've got 7-time Indy 500 driver who's now an author, a motivational speaker, and a business leader. It could only be Lynn St. James, who I'm sure you just saw on the course there. She's joining us this morning to tell us how we can accelerate our dreams. And she's also written a book titled Lynn St. James, An Incredible Journey. And what a journey it has been.
It still is.
It still is. Okay, what's it like flying around a track like that, driving over 200 miles an hour?
Well, it's what I was, I think, meant to do in this world, so it's awesome. I mean, it isn't easy, and I didn't just show up and do that. I mean, you have to really work towards it, prepare yourself, and it was a long journey to get to that point. But when you get there, I mean, it's the best.
And you describe yourself as a shy young gal, and yet here you have this fire, this drive.
Well, I believe that all of us have a fire in the belly somewhere or something. There's something there's a trigger point that's inside us that could be very different than our persona. And if you don't find that, it's what a waste, or what a kind of a void maybe. It doesn't mean you can't have a great life, but if you can find that fire somewhere, that trigger point, you will be amazed at the power and the transformation that can occur inside you and outside, in your life.
And if you want it bad enough, you can make it happen.
Yeah, first you have to find it. I mean, you have to kind of, and I was on a searching mode as a young person, what am I really meant to do in this world? And I was a secretary, and I was a wife, and I played tennis, and I was doing everything that society sort of had a structure to do, back in the 70s.
Sure.
And then, but something, I was like, is this all there is? And then I found it. And when I found it, and it was behind the wheel of a Pinto, which was my first race car and my street car. I mean, we're not talking about a big deal here, but for me, it was just transformational. I mean, I felt powerful, and I had never felt powerful, and I just loved it, and so that was it.
Who got you into race car driving?
Well, I was a fan first, and I went with my buddies and everything back in the 60s in the muscle car era. But I have to give credit to my first husband. I mean, he took me to the Indy 500 on our second date.
Wow.
And then he took me.
That's a date.
Yeah. I lived in Ohio, so, and we went on a motorcycle, which was really cool. Yeah, he was a cool dude.
You are adventurous. Holy cow.
And I moved to Florida with him, and we started a business, and then we went to sports car races, to the 24 Hours of Daytona. So we were fans first, and then he helped me figure out, because he wanted to do it too, so between the two of us, he had a Corvette and I had a Pinto, and we went racing. Yeah, and we just started to do it. I mean, and that's the other thing, is that people talk so many times, we all do it. Oh, I really would love to do that. Mm-hmm. You hear that, whether it's going on a trip somewhere, or whether it's doing something, or losing weight, but they never do it. I mean, they never really take an action plan, and so we took an action plan, and my life has changed, and it's been fabulous.
What's it like racing, and here you are competing in such a man's world? What's that like?
First of all, I think it is a man's world. I mean,
yeah,
every place I've ever gone. I mean, I went to a girls' school, but I've always felt that it's really, there's more guys that are in charge. So who's in charge makes the world defined, I think. And but the thing I also loved about racing is you put a suit and a helmet on, and you become sort of a non-gender. I call it a gender-neutral sport. The car doesn't know the difference. It doesn't say, oh, I got a girl driving, so I'm not going to give it all my horsepower. It does everything I tell it to do. And when I'm in the car, nobody knows, oh, there's the girl driver, because I'm not visible. And I loved that, because so many women are judged by how they look, and there's all those judgments going on, where all of that went away when I was in the race car. And sometimes when I'd get the trophy thing at the end of the day, when they handed out the trophies, and I'd come up and get my trophy, and I think sometimes the people handing out the trophy thought I was picking it up for my husband or something. I mean, it wasn't really for me.
I love it.
You know what I mean? It was just, because Lynn can kind of be a guy's name too, and so the gender thing in the very beginning particularly was really a non-issue, and I'm glad, and so for me it helped me.
Maybe a minute left here, but you go from race car driving to motivational speaker. What did you learn on the track that you incorporate in your book and when you speak to everybody?
Well, so many life lessons, and that's why I wanted to do the book, and because I have pit stops at every chapter, and every chapter has these pit stops, whether it's, you have to make sure you ask. Some people just show up and want something to happen. They forget to ask. How to stop negative thinking, just how to how to manage your life, and all of those are in the pit stops in the book.
And why it's so important to never quit if you want it bad
Absolutely.
enough.
You got to hang in there.
Lynn St. James, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. And if somebody wanted you to come and speak at their convention?
Well, if you just go to my website, lynnstjames.com, there's a speaker questionnaire on there. If you want a copy of the book and you want me to autograph it, you can order it online on my website, or you can go to amazon.com.
Lynn St. James, an incredible journey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with some male models and fashion.